Hello, welcome once again to my YouTube channel. I remain your favorite IGC ICT coach. Today I want us to do October-November 2025 paper 02. We're looking at document production. Alright, so let's dive right into it. So we've been supplied with these materials. Let's check out our source file. Alright, so if you open W 2025W, alright, the source files are here. You can right click and extract. I have already extracted, so I have my files here. Alright, so next it says we should open. So in this video I'll be doing the evidence document for those of us that have issues with doing evidence document. So open the file evidence.rtf. So you come here and open evidence.rtf, okay, and inspect the file. Alright, so usually they would number all the evidences you are meant to put in here. Okay, so make sure that your name, center number, and candidate number will appear on every page of this document. To do that, you go to insert, go to, let's use the header. We could use this, your name, center number, and candidate number. Center numbers and candidate numbers will be given to you just about when you have to write the exams. Save this document in your work area as evidence, followed by your candidate number, for example this. So we want to save file, save as, go to this. So we'll save as a Word document with evidence followed by our candidate number, and then we'll save and then OK. Alright, so next up, you will need your evidence document during the examination to place screenshots when required. You are going to edit the document. The company uses a corporate house style for all their documents. Paragraph styles must be created and applied as instructed. Using a suitable software package, open event.rtf. So this is event. Let's double click to open event. So while that's opening, we'll look for, it says the page is set up to A4 portrait orientation with 2 centimeter margins. So that's already been done, but let's check to be sure if that's correct. If you have this, you can enable editing and then go to your layout view, your paper size. Okay, our A4 is highlighted here. Okay, portrait orientation, and then our last custom margin is 2 centimeters all around. So next, it says do not make any changes to these settings. 3 paragraph styles have already been created. Do not make any changes to these. Alright, save the document in your work area as tm_festival. So we're going to be saving this as tm_festival. So let's save it in our source file. Of course, you always save in the format of the software we're using for compatibility issues and other reasons. Alright, make sure to save in the format of software you're using. Place in your evidence document a screenshot to show this file has been saved, and make sure there is evidence of the file type. Okay, so you can go to your source file and your TM Festival. This now, you take a screenshot of this. You press the print screen on your system. Sniping tool will show up, and then you do this and up to this because you need to show the document type. So you can use this as your evidence. So that's evidence 1. So now this, you could also do it another way, but this shows you that the file has been saved. If you do it this other way, do file, save as, and this, and then you put this and you do screenshot of this. This is good, but doesn't show the final action So I think you should always do it the way I did earlier on. Okay, so next step is um, number 2. It says place in the header of the TM festival document automated page numbers right aligned. So automated page numbers. So go to insert. So placing this in the header. In the header, automated page numbers right aligned. So you go to the header. This is left aligned. Okay, I'd rather we use let's close this. I'd rather we do insert header and use these 3 columns. We can just delete the other placeholder as time goes on. Page number, right? So you click and click page number and current position and place this there. Okay, let's see if we have to place any other thing in the header. It's a place in the footer, your name, center number, and candy number right aligned. So nothing else in the header. So we can take this out and close, and then go to insert, go to footer. So we are using the right aligned. Place our names. Always start your names in capital letters. A lot of students use small letters for their names. Doesn't make sense. Alright, so I've inserted our names, center number and carry number right aligned. Make sure that all the alignments match the page margins here. No other text placeholders are included in the header or footer. So let's remove these placeholders because we don't need them anymore. Alright. And then the headers and footers are displayed on all pages, so that's done. Click OK, so you can expect to see they are all the pages. Yeah, so then it says we should sort the list from accurate chip timing to special commemorative model in alphabetical order. So we'll highlight this accurate chip timing and then we'll sort. To sort, you come here and we are sorting in alphabetical order. So okay, yes. Alphabetical order should be a descending order, okay, from A to Z. Alright, so once you're done, you click OK. Oh, this is not, this is should be in ascending order. Alright, A to S. That's accurate. So it says we apply a bulleted list to the text from accurate to this, format the bullet so that, so let's apply a bulleted list. Then it says we should apply the bullet indented 1.5 centimeters from the left margin. So you can come here and indent 1.5 centimeter, 1.5 from the left. The list is in single line spacing with no space before or after each line. Alright, so single line spacing, no space before and no space after. Alright, so we can click OK at that point. Good. So the next, it says we should select the subheading race and the following text up to including the paragraph ending be polite to them, race entry. So from here, race entry down on up till be polite to them. Okay. So it says we should change the page layout so that only this text is displayed in 2 columns of equal width with a 1.5 spacing between them. So you go to your layout view, go to columns, go to more columns, 2 columns. So this should be 1.5 centimeters. Let's be sure. 1.5 centimeters. Alright, equal width. Alright, and then we click OK. So that's that. Then it says we should create and store the following style, basing it on the default normal paragraph style. So we are creating TMF subhead, basing it on the normal default paragraph style. So copy this. Okay. So I advise you place your cursor down there so that it doesn't apply to any of the text you already have. So you go back to home go to styles, click and create a style and type the name of the style there and then modify. Okay, so it says we should base it on the normal default. So this is based on the body. So click and click on this. So that's the normal default style. Okay, so default normal paragraph style. That's what we've done. So it says our font style should be serif. A serif font is a font with extrusion. So Times New Roman is one font with extrusions. We should always use. Font size is 16. The center aligned. It is bold. All caps. Okay, to make this all caps, you go to format, go to font and make it all caps and then OK. And then single line spacing, you go to format, you go to paragraph, single line spacing should be 0 before and then 6 after. Alright, let's be sure we've done the right thing. It now says you should take a screenshot to show that you have defined the settings for TMF subhead style. So you can do a screenshot here. Alright, so you can print screen and just print the part you need that shows you that you've done the task. And then you go to your evidence. Okay, let's click on OK and OK before we go to the evidence document. Okay, and paste that as our evidence. Okay, another way to do your evidence is to right click. If you've not maybe pressed your OK before taking your evidence, you can right click and do this. Okay, and take a screenshot of this. So this shows that it's based on normal, the name is there, all the font and every other thing you can see here. So that's how it's done. Okay, so next will be we've done places in our evidence document. Since we should identify the 5 subheadings in the document and apply the TMF subhead style to each one. So to do that, we have raise entry as a subhead, hold your control button and highlight. Okay, hold your control button and highlight raise for charity. Scroll, hold your control. Always release your control before you scroll, else you'll be making a mistake. Okay, so after highlighting all of this, you just click on the TMF subhead. So applies it to all the subheads. Alright. It says we should also locate the table in the document and delete the entire row and contents with the category elite runners. So let's locate the table. This is the table. It says we should delete elite runners. So you can highlight this row this way. Okay, hit the backspace on your keyboard and shift cells left. So that does that for us. Okay, it says we should format the last row of the table to have a height of 1.5 centimeters. So let's add borders to our table, helps us to see the table better. Okay, so we can go to the table design and then borders, we can say all borders. Okay, so let's go back to the question again. It says format the last row of the table to have a height of 1.5 centimeter. So highlight the last row. Okay, go to the table layout and make this 1.5 centimeters. So that does that for us. Next, it says you should take a screenshot to show that the row height is set as 1.5 centimeter and place that in our evidence document. So while your cursor is here, you can go to this row and take a screenshot of this print screen. Alright, and use your sniping tool to snipe and also include the that how do you call it now, that row, so that it shows that you're actually working on that row. Or alternatively, let's do it this way. You can click on this and move this to the side and then take the screenshot to include that. So after taking your screenshot, you click OK, and then you go to your evidence document and paste that as your evidence for step 9. Then back to your question. It says we should format the last row of the table so that it becomes a single cell across the 3 columns. Okay, so after highlighting all the columns, you right click and merge cells that way. Then the contents of all the cells are vertical and horizontally centered. So you come here, place your cursor there. If you're not sure, just place your cursor to see, to be very sure. So you can see that this is center text horizontally and vertically within the cell. So you click, that's exactly what we've been asked to do. It has a light gray background fill, 20 to 30%. Alright, so to do this, you go to the table design, and under shading, give it a light gray feel between 20 and 30%. Okay, between 20 and 30%. So that does that for us. Now it says we should format the table so that a text in each row displays on one line. The text in each row displays on one line. I think we already have that. Okay, this doesn't. So we could click to uncheck that or de-highlight that, and then yeah, so this does it for us. You could move this a bit this way. Okay, so that does that. It says 1 point black internal and external grid lines are displayed when printed. We've added our grid lines already, but it says 1 point black. So let's click here. So you click on all, okay, ideally, and then you click and make this 1 point apply to the table, and that's it. Okay, so using all applies to the internal and external grid line. Next question says the table borders and all data fit within the column. So it actually fits within the column. Okay, looks like slightly doesn't, so let's fix that. So you come to table layout, go to auto fix and fix column within width. Okay, so that we could manually do this by placing our cursor there and moving it to snap at the edge of the column. Okay, so this is good. All right, so next up will the space after the table is maintained. We have space after the table. Yes, we have some space here after the table, so that's fine. Now it says we should import track.jpg and place it in the paragraph starting with the race starts. So let's look for the paragraph that starts with the race starts. You can actually search. Alright, I've done that manually. So we are going to insert an image, this device. So insert pictures, this device. Definitely you're going to be looking for your source document 2025W paper 2, and that's what we're inserting. All right, so inserted. It says rotate the image 180 degrees. So to rotate, come here and click, and then click for the second time. It rotates 180 degrees for us. Then it says we should crop the image to remove the blue sky above the clouds. The clouds must still be fully visible. So we want the blue sky out. So to crop, you click, then place your cursor on this black edge and move downwards. We want the clouds to be visible, but the blue should be out. So click on crop, all right, to enforce the crop. Next, it says it is resize. Format the cropped image so that it is resized to a width of 3.5 centimeters with no distortion. Alright, when they say no distortion, what it means is that let's click here, say that your aspect ratio is locked. Okay, and then we want the width to be 3.5 centimeters, just the width 3.5, and then okay. So the height will automatically adjust when you adjust the width. See, the width 3.5, height now becomes 2.19. All right, and then it says it is aligned to the right of the column and top of the paragraph starting the restart. So align this to the right while this is clicked. So while your picture is clicked, you go to position, click, and place it to the right that way. Okay, our image is moving, so you can drag your image down this way until that green snapping line shows. You could also move it inwards this way. Okay, yeah, until it shows green and this way. Okay, so that's good for us. Good. So next we will text wrap. I think the text has already wrapped, so that's fine. Then we'll go to question number 14. So the text is wrapped already. So we'll go to question number 14. Question 14 says we should spell check and proofread the document. Make sure that the list and table are not split over columns or pages. So let's spell check first. So you go to review, go to spelling and grammar. All right, we have finished checking your selection. Okay, so it's giving us a correction here with a comma, so you could either ignore or accept. I've just accepted it. Tawara, race Tawara, we can ignore this because that's a name from a standard name, not something we should tamper with. So spelling and grammar check is complete. You click OK, and that's that. Then it says we should make sure that the list and table are not split over columns or pages. So let's ensure our list is not split, our table is not split. Okay, next it says there are no widows or orphans. To control widows and orphans, we go to home, go to paragraph, go to line, and click on widow and orphans. Or I think we need to highlight the entire document first. Highlight the entire document, go to go back to home, go to paragraph, okay, and make sure this is checked this way and click OK. So that controls widows and paragraphs for us. Okay, it says there are no blank pages. Let's ensure no blank pages. Okay, so we just have 2 pages here, which is fine. The original styles are maintained. Yes, spacing is consistent between our items. We've done exactly that. Save the document using the same file name and format used in step 1. So just do Control S to save, Control S to save, and back to the question. It says print the document. So let's get the document printed. So you go to File, go to Print. Okay, so for now we're not printing to our printer, we'll print to PDF. Okay, so our paper size should be A4. Every other thing is perfect. Click on print, and then we'll locate our source file. Yes, 2025, we're looking at W02 right here, and we'll call this print out 1, and so we print. All right, so let's see if there's any other tasks. Okay, so with this we've come to the end of this video on document production. If you've enjoyed this video, I'd like you to like, subscribe, and share so that others can enjoy what you enjoy. Do have yourself a great day.